All right. I wanted to capture my viewpoint. I already rolled something. You can see it right in there in the middle of the screen. Uh, that I wanted to go through and like, all right, this is how I'm thinking. Going into earnings week here with the two positions I hold as the individual equity versus the contracts, the options against them, right? Are held in the equity's collateral. At least in my view, the equity's collateral, and I'm selling essentially. In a sense, I'm trying to work my covered calls like limit orders, right, to sell at a certain price point. And with that, I can't really there for me. There's no like viewpoint to holding these covered calls that I have right now, at least with like the one from this week that I have expiring on Friday. So let's say I want to roll it or I want to get rid of it. I'm torn between the two, but let's say I just want to close it. Um, it's only 16 cents a contract. More interested in getting rid of it. I mean, I'm sitting on like I want to say 50% gain or 40%, somewhere in there. 48. Okay, it was like 52 within the last half hour, and I'm not too concerned about like the bid ask. I mean, it's pretty tight. It's 2 cent spread. Um, in this case, but there's other equities I've traded that I've been chewed, right? I've been burned. Not so much, but on the spread, someone else is making a lot more off of you, or there's this. I wouldn't say it's like manipulated. I don't think that's appropriate verbiage, but when like the bid is all the way down here, the transaction, everything that'll get, all these orders will get filled are like somewhere between the mid and the ask. I mean the bid. Meanwhile, the ask is like triple the value of the bid or the where you'd get filled, and I find that like super ironic. So here, it's only $54 to get out of this, 54 cents, whatever. And I think because it's about to be earnings, I might as well just offload. Maybe roll into those other positions, but I want to let those ride a little, in the sense of premiums or IV, where I think they're at decent deltas. It's just I don't know that rolling doesn't really make sense right now because of the IV ramp up that I'm expecting. Let's say, right, or the it's not the IV crush, it's the IV rush. Wow, one letter. But in that sense, like, it's kind of like, okay, typically with this, right, or if you trade one name, whatever, if you're more concentrated versus spread out, typically with whatever name, if you've been, actively trading it, and let's say in my case, week to week versus daily, because that seems a little absurd. But this is just a capture point, like, I only look at this stuff maybe 30 minutes a day, or 2 hours max. Just kind of responsive to your book per se, or what's going on. So like last week, margin call almost. This week, just trying to offload. Everything's kind of down, but I mean, it's enough where you're able to recover, recap, and just wait for like an ambush in the sense of trading or whatever. And so I don't know. I've been watching videos on like the leopard seal a few days ago, and it's like, dude, that's kind of how I would like to upgrade my game per se here. And so with that, thanks for watching. I'm here. Let me do it. Let me do it just to have it there, right? Just to do it. All right. Plate filled. There you go. All right. So like, it's just kind of, this is what's going on. Let me keep an eye on the spread of this or that, right? So let's say premiums shoot up like crazy. I'm okay with selling at whatever strike point or strike. It's a different story, I think, and it's too individualistic And this is kind of why I'm excited to be able to do this for some period of time until, either net worth hits a certain point, or asset base hits a certain point, or, the company hits a certain point where I won't be allowed to do, or I won't be able to do this, I won't be allowed to do this, kind of just give my thoughts and takes. It's very individualistic, and, I think that as a market participant, there should be this openness between, I'll say retail, protail, institution, to fill in some type of market demand that may or may not be valued today. And with that, there's some things that I'm curious about, right? As someone that wants to become institutional, energy, whatever. There's a certain demographic that's okay, as someone that, out of my custodian or my bank, whatever, down the road, I'd like this hybrid type of situation where you're investing, trading, managing, holding X amount for me, doing it, 80%, 90%, whatever. And then that other 10%, that's all me. That's all, whatever you want to do with it. And there's some weird accessibility thing, or capital thing, whatever the restrictions we'll call it, for lack of better terms, that seem to get in the way, right? All this information is all priced in. Everyone has access to the same information. Now, going about it might be a different story, right? The accessibility of that information, completely different story, but everyone has the same information, and everything's priced in. And I don't know, it's something that doesn't sit right with me, with it's even if that's true, couldn't there be other people that can play out a thought, a idea, a concept, and see how it works? And there's this weird lack of experimentation, lack of investor, whatever, in the human capital and ideas and thoughts from other things, right? And this is something that fascinates me, right? Where if I were an institution, broker, custodian, whatever, why would you not pick out your own talent, your own customer base, whatever? I don't want to say double dip. I don't know if that's right. But if I knew you were the best trader on my platform, or if I knew you were a great investor, whatever, why wouldn't I, buy you? Why wouldn't I acquire you as talent versus as a broker, or keep you as a client? I somewhat understand the double dipping, this I would say legislative kind of effect, or this regulatory. I'm blanking on the term. Attitude. But I don't know. It's okay, you're no longer allowed to trade with us, but now you trade for us, right? This kind of concept where the talent capture is more interesting. It's not moral. What's it? I'm blanking on it. It's not collusion. Oh well. I'm blanking on the term exactly when I want to use it. That sucks. Oh well. I mean, I'm kind of stuck here for words, so I'd rather close out here. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, don't subscribe, whatever. Try to provide whatever value I can within any random capture point, along with the founder videos and stuff that I'll be doing for the rest of the year. Anyway, thank you. Bye.